Most guys spend years in the gym just chipping away at building a shredded physique, becoming more jacked and ripped, and just putting so much effort into their appearance overall just to try to attract more women. And while it is important to do this, you should always be improving your appearance. Even some of the guys who are the best looking struggle with women. They could have the money, they could have the status, the perfect physique that they spent years building, thinking that it would actually give them an abundance of women that were just going to flock to them. Even those guys still struggle. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best looking guy in the world. There's people who've commented on my videos before, dude, you're like a 4.5 or 5 out of 10. Bro, I never said I was the best looking at all, okay? Now, I did do fitness modeling about 4 or 5 years ago. And I can honestly tell you that I put so much into my physique for years, because going from having a sort of mediocre body to going in the Marine Corps and then building a physique, and then even when I got after, I still had like maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10 physique. And then for about 3 years, I obsessed over my physique and thought that I just had to get this perfect aesthetic physique. Like, there was literally a point where I even grew my hair out. Like, I had long hair, I had a man bun, I was going to the tanning bed, I was spending 2 hours a day at least working out, and I didn't necessarily get more attention from women. Okay? So in this video, I'm going to break down really the 5 biggest reasons why even some of the most attractive guys still struggle with girls. And more importantly, what you can do to fix that if that's you. Okay? Now, I'm not saying handsome and ripped are the same thing. It's basically the same thing, okay? But if you're new to my channel, welcome. Go ahead and hit subscribe. Like the video. It helps me. It helps the channel. It helps our community, okay? I'm putting a video out every single day to help you guys as much as possible. So let's get into it. All right. Why handsome men still struggle with women? Okay. There's a few reasons, right? Number 1 is looks are not enough. You cannot just rely on your looks. Just being a good-looking guy, just being a super fit guy doesn't mean that you're necessarily desirable long term. Now, I encourage you to hit the gym, focus on improving your physique. If you're skinny, if you're fat, like, get a 6-pack, okay? If you've never done it before, then I encourage you to do it, okay? But it's not the end all be all, and you can't just rely on your looks, okay? Women want to feel your masculine presence overall. So if you cannot lead, and if you can't show that you are a man on your mission, if you can't demonstrate that you have other things going for you in your life, then she's not really going to see much substance there, especially if maybe you don't really read much, or you're not very intelligent and you haven't worked on improving your knowledge, right? If you don't have resources, right? And all you really have is you just spend a ton of energy and time into your appearance, that's not going to be enough, okay? It's just not going to be enough. Because women want resources, they want stability, you got to have it all, man. And you have to have the internal value, the internal confidence, okay? Which is what you build from accomplishing hard things that you do in your life, setting goals and accomplishing and crushing those goals and setting new ones, okay? So that's going to be huge. You have to be a man on your mission. You have to have a vision for your life, and you have to have a purpose. That's your mission. That comes before any woman. That's your top priority. So whether or not you have any women or they want to be in your life, you always have your mission. You have your purpose. It's something that you work on building every single day. So you cannot just rely on your looks. So I remember when I got absolutely shredded, I did fitness modeling back in 2019 to about 2022 or so. And I definitely got more attention the more jacked and shredded that I was from guys. And I definitely had women throw themselves at me. I've had women slide in my DMs and reach out, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it didn't happen at the level that I thought it would, because I had a very entitled mindset. And I also was pretty broke at the time. I was just a personal trainer, and I wasn't really doing much else except spending 2 hours a day working out. And I realized that looks just aren't enough. I wasn't really reading a whole lot, listening to some podcasts, but I wasn't really having the most interesting conversations. I wasn't moving up in my career. I was just pretty stagnant, and I was wondering why. Now, I could definitely get some women for sure, of course. You get looks, you get attention, you could definitely hook up and get women. But higher quality women want you to have your life together, because it's very competitive. It's a very competitive dating market as it is. So you can't just rely on your looks. The second thing is, if you're super good looking, and I'm not saying I'm super good looking, guys, all right? But if you're like a super good looking guy, a lot of women just are going to assume that you have a lot of options. They're going to assume that he's a player. Maybe he's going to cheat on me. Now, this is how a lot of guys are, but that doesn't mean that's how you are. And 80% at least of these women out here are toxic. They're damaged. And, they allow themselves to stay in these, toxic relationships and go from one to the next. And, they're always dating the same kind of guys because they haven't taken any accountability. Okay. So, but it's a thing too, right? Like, I remember I used to post a bunch of like shirtless pictures and, selfies and all kinds of stuff, just all about my physique. I was really into my physique and my appearance. Right. And yes, you're going to have people that are going to give you attention. All right. But a higher quality woman is going to see, he's self-centered. He's full of himself. He's a player, especially if you're posting a bunch of thirst traps and stuff like I used to do, man. It's not going to be it, man. It's not going to be the vibe. Women want more, okay? And they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit. Okay, maybe if you work out and you're in like decent shape, fine. Do you have money? Can you provide? Do you have resources? Do you know people? Can you provide that strong masculine energy? Can you lead her? Can you lead yourself? Can you lead people around you? Can you provide a fun experience for her, right? It's so many other things. Can you put her on can you give her all the ranges of emotions that she can feel? Are you a good listener? I mean, it's all these things, man. And, a lot of women will assume that maybe like you remind them of a guy who cheated on them or played them. But look, that's their problem. I'm just giving you the facts, all right? There might be 10 to 20% of these women out here who are actually high quality that you would want to be in a relationship with. But if you're super into your fitness and stuff and you're trying to attract a high quality woman, you probably shouldn't just always be posting thirst traps and whatnot on Instagram, because it's just not going to give off the right energy, because that is valid. You're trying to get validation. You're fishing for validation and attention. It's the same thing that women do. Okay. It's no different than half naked women on Instagram, right? And then you're doing the same thing. I mean, if you're making money from it, I can't judge you. It is what it is. All right. If that's your business, that's a little bit different. So the third thing is kind of what I had mentioned earlier at the beginning. There is no substance for you behind the looks. So you really don't learn a whole lot. You don't really have a mission or a purpose or something that you're building. It could be anything. It could be a hobby. It could be a project, a business. It could be charity. It doesn't matter what it is. They don't see you going somewhere. So here's how it works with women. Women see potential. Okay, so if they see that you're getting after it in something, they, in their mind, their hypergamous brain is thinking, okay, this guy is going to the top, and I want to be a part of what he's got going on. And if they can't see it like that, then screw it, man. Like, forget about them. They can't appreciate you where you are in your journey. But a lot of guys don't have a lot of substance, man. They're, obsessed with video game addiction, sports addiction, obsessed with the stats on their favorite sports teams or athletes, right? just obsessed with everything else except being on their mission in life. Not able to actually listen well and ask good questions, not able to really hold a good conversation, right? It's just, not really working that great of a job. You need to have drive in your life, and you need a mission that's bigger than her always. Otherwise, she's just going to label you as just another hot guy, and you might be able to have some hookups here and there and some, lower quality relationships. But if you ever want to build anything profound with a high quality woman, you've got to have depth, and you've got to be going places. Another thing is why you handsome, good-looking, in shape dudes struggle with women is because you fail their tests. Women test all the time. They're always going to test. They're consciously and mainly subconsciously, biologically hardwired to test you. What do I mean by that? Well, you should check out why women test. I have a video on my channel, but women are going to throw more tests at you because you're attractive. She wants to know if you are actually a high value guy or if you are just putting on a front for her. So she's testing to see if you're actually a man of substance and if you truly are living up to what you're giving off, right? So she doesn't want to be with a guy who's just coasting. Any higher quality woman doesn't want to be with a guy who's just drifting along and coasting through life. And if you flinch at this, if you fail her test, get reactive, or if you try to be a people pleaser, you fail the test. A woman that's in her feminine energy wants a man that's strong, that can lead and be in his frame. Okay? So you will have more tests. Too much attention can backfire. That's my last thing here. There's some women who really just feel insecure dating a guy who turns heads. It's their own insecurity. It's their fault. I mean, at the end of the day, you really want to be with a woman who's into the same stuff. So if she's into health and fitness, that's great. You guys both want to be equally yoked. Women typically do date up a little bit. They want to date the best match that they feel like is for them, the best that they feel like they can get. But there's some women that are really insecure about a guy. Like, for example, I gone out with a few girls, didn't really work out, kind of fizzled out, but I felt the energy was kind of off because I knew that I was better looking than they were in general. And it is what it is. They were, not bad looking girls, good energy, but women can pick up the vibe. They're very intuitive. And they're also very insecure. Even some of the best looking women I've ever been with, dated, talked to, they are unfortunately some of the most insecure. And it's their problem, man. You want to try and find a partner that is an equal match. That's really what you want. That's going to be your best bet. But some are just more insecure, man. And they don't want to be with someone who is going to potentially get more attention, potentially be more a threat to them because they're insecure. Again, like some of these influencers and some of the most gorgeous and honestly amazing women I've ever met were also some of the most insecure. And it's crazy, but it's true. And that's just how it is. They just don't want to feel replaceable. They don't want to feel like, they're constantly having to compete for your attention. And this is going for the guys who are really good, much better looking than me, guys who have status, influence, and these kind of things. But there's some women who will be cool with it, right? Now, what's the solution for you? What is a solution? You have to develop your masculine energy. You need to be a man who leads with purpose. You're on your mission in life. She is not your top priority. Your boys, your business, your friends, your money, your body, like building your knowledge, your skill set, resources, building and expanding your social network. Those are your top priorities. Develop the masculine energy. Show her you're different through your actions and not words. Men do not have to verbalize stuff like women do. You show her through your actions how you feel and where you're going in life. Okay? And you don't have to over validate. Don't over explain yourself or overcompensate either. Like, you don't need to go into too much detail. Like if she has her own beliefs or her own assumptions about you, let her have her own opinions and assumptions about you. You don't have to explain. Be a man of your word. Do and say what you mean, and show up authentically you every single day. Don't bend or fold for any woman or really anyone. Be grounded in who you are as a man. Be grounded in the purpose and the direction that you're going, and don't give a crap about what anybody thinks. That's true masculine energy. Masculine energy is leading by example. It's not over explaining. It's not having to raise your voice. It's not having to start drama. It's not having to qualify yourself to anyone and try to prove yourself. You just do you and do what the heck you want with your life and head in that direction. And if somebody wants to be a part of your journey, great. If not, that's cool too. And live a mission-driven life, man. That's what I'm saying. Live a purpose-driven life. Focus on something that truly speaks to your soul, something that you can see yourself building for years and years to come. And it has to be others-centered. It has to be about giving back your mission, your purpose. So I created this YouTube channel. I started this year. God told me a year ago to start a YouTube channel. And when I was a kid, I wanted to be a movie actor. And I never did that. I never went to Hollywood. Probably a good idea. I would have gotten caught up in a bad crowd. No telling what would have happened. But I started YouTube, and it's been challenging. It's not been easy, especially working a full-time job. But I'm committed to the journey. And God told me to do it, and I listened. And it's about others. The ascended man is helping you forge strength, elevate your spirit, and leading with purpose. It's truly helping you forge armor for life. I was in combat in the U.S. Marines at the age of 20. And just like in battle, you wear armor. So in life, we have to forge our own armor. And so that's what we do here. Next thing you got to do, get comfortable with the woman's tests. She's going to test you. Stand your ground. Stay in your frame. Don't overtly react emotionally. Don't double text. Don't act too eager. Don't act needy. Okay? Be secure in yourself and who you are. Women will test you all the time, man, especially if you're a good-looking dude. They want to see if you're the real deal. They want to see if you can back it up. And that's why they test. Women test because of, really, it's in their hypergamous nature. Now, there are some master manipulators, but most women test because they want to make sure that you're strong, that you're willing and able to protect her and her offspring. That is why they test, because back in the day, our ancestors had to survival of the fittest. So they want to make sure that them and their offspring are going to be taken care of and that they will survive and live and be able to carry on generations. Okay, so that's how that works. She will continue to test you, and you must maintain in your frame. I don't mean being 100% completely cold and stoic and never show any emotion, but don't validate, don't qualify yourself, don't chase. Be in your frame. You should be making her qualify to you instead of trying to win her over, which you should never do, never chase. Initially lead and pursue initially, but if she's not expressing interest, if her interest level is less than a 50 or 60%, don't even waste your time. People show you if they're interested. There is no such thing as mixed signals, okay? They're either interested or they're not. But we don't want to try to win anyone over. You have to look at yourself like the prize. And that's the thing. If you don't have your shit together right now, you aren't the prize. You have to understand that. If your money's not right, if you're not in a good job, if your body's not right, if your appearance isn't right, like these are things that, you have to work on leveling up your life so you are the prize. But even good looking guys, I know they screw up, man, because the energy's off. You can have all the money, you can be super good looking, you can have all of it, but if your energy's off, if you're giving weak feminine behavior, if you're, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, you're so gorgeous, and texting her back right away, and being a yes man, and being, willing to drop a hat even though she takes a while to respond, but you're, oh yeah, we'll do this, you're buying her flowers all the time and all this stuff, man, like, it's too much. It's way too much. You can't win her over. You have to flip the script and let her qualify herself to you. Ask yourself, is this woman feminine? Is she fun? Does she bring me peace? Does she bring me good energy in my life? Is she emotionally healthy and grounded? That's what we want. Well, okay, we all know that women aren't necessarily emotionally grounded, but emotionally healthy. You should be emotionally grounded. Women's emotions are like the waves, right? And let's just say you are the boat in the ocean. The woman is the ocean. You don't want to ever let the waves, the ocean, her capsize your boat and sink you. You have to keep staying afloat, and the storm will pass eventually. Whatever it is, you just have to remain cool. Cool, calm, and collected. Don't get overly emotional. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Go ahead and comment down below. Let me know right now. Let me know what you've gone through. I'm curious. And subscribe. Dropping a video daily. Catch you guys later.